the gentleman witnesses what just happened on the floor. Just seems that on bills where there are solutions and bipartisan indications of support, there seems to be a decision by the part of his leadership, perhaps himself, to say, hey, we're not going to go along with bipartisan work and success, and maybe we're just going to make this a partisan issue.
I wasn't going to bring up what happened today. But what happened today is you turned a bipartisan bill, necessary for our farmers, necessary for our consumers, necessary for the people of America, that many of us would have supported, and you turned it into a partisan bill. Then, yes, I have been concerned about the inability to take a bill reported out of committee that is bipartisan in nature and turn it into a partisan bill. That's what happened on this floor today. It was unfortunate, as I say, for farmers, it was unfortunate for consumers, and it was unfortunate for our country.
And again, it was not as if this amendment came out of thin air. The gentleman, the ranking member, the entire leadership on the minority side knew this amendment was there. And the gentleman forever is on this floor, Mr. Speaker, talking about regular order, talking about the need for us to have open process, perhaps to let the will of the House work, be worked, and then go to conference. That was what the goal here was. It was an example. The other side, Mr. Speaker, did not think that was their goal, did not think it was an appropriate mission, and instead decided to emphasize where they perhaps differed when we wanted to reform it in a certain area. And I yield back.
The gentleman for yielding back. We clearly have a profound disagreement. When we were in the majority, we got no help on your side, Mr. Majority Leader. You remember that. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 on programs that we felt very strongly about. There was no opportunity to have bipartisan dialogue. There was no opportunity to have bipartisan agreement. Some 90 days ago, I believe, we passed a budget. At your insistence, the Senate passed a budget. Good for them. We have not gone to conference. You have not provided an opportunity to go to conference. You haven't appointed conferees. That's regular order. Gentleman wants it on one bill, but apparently not all bills. So don't blame Democrats for the loss today. You didn't bring up the Farm Bill when it was reported out in a bipartisan basis last year. You didn't even bring it to the floor because your party couldn't come together supporting their chairman's bill. So that's where we find ourselves, Mr. Chairman. I wasn't going to bring up that bill at all. What happened, happened. And very frankly, when we lost on the floor, it was because we lost on the floor and we were in the majority. We produced 218 votes for almost everything we put on this floor. Don't blame Democrats for the failure to bring 218 Republicans to your bipartisan, Lucas-supported and Peterson-supported piece of legislation to the floor. Yeah, you pushed my button. I'm prepared to work in a bipartisan fashion, but I'm not prepared to work in a bipartisan fashion when it said, this is what we agree on, meaning your side, so you better take it if we're going to have any agreement. That's not the way it works. It never worked that way in America. That's not what America's about.